Hey guys, Post Ninja here. You're most welcome to the listening hub of the century. This is a different episode. This is unlike any of my seasons or the kind of episodes you listen to. This is more of an awareness and advocacy episode. I would like to call it a bonus episode because I'm doing it for a friend, someone I respect, someone who is very, very passionate about what she does. And today you will be meeting my very, very good friend, Lois. Lois, please introduce yourself.
Hi, hello. My name is Lois Tofunmi Aderomose. I'm a peer mental health advocate. I'm a gender-based advocate. I'm also a global media campaigner for FGM.
Oh, nice to meet you, Lois.
Nice to meet you too.
By the way, guys, let me just tell you something. We've talked for about 30 minutes before this particular record, and we found out that we were saying nothing. You know why? We couldn't hear ourselves by the time we said, okay, let's check. We that we have been talking. Is this still really recording? My brothers and sisters, I'm weak, but I have to re-record.
Honestly.
Guys, Lois is a teacher.
Yes, I'm a teacher.
She's got a 9-to-5 job and she's particular about children. So I guess it just makes sense that you're teaching and you have this first-hand
understanding,
with kids. You have an understanding of how their minds are.
Yeah.
Would you say that this has helped you a lot in your advocacy?
Yes, it has. It has helped me a lot because I meet them every day. I speak to them every day. Mm-hmm. I even counsel them.
Yes.
And this has helped me understand them. It has helped me to understand them better. Understand what is even going on in their minds, even before they even say what they want to say.
Yeah.
So it has helped me in lots and lots of ways. It has even increased my passion towards doing a whole lot of things for them.
I think the highest I've done, which I still do, is that I teach kids in church. But that also gives me, because they just
because you meet them.
When they are really learning from you and you're giving them, they love stories as well.
Do.
So you all should know that I've actually worked with Lois on a project.
Yes.
We have our flagship project in the Smile Outreach. We've been able to reach about 2,690.
Yeah.
I'm so glad about that in different states.
Same here.
And Lois's organization, Goodnews Club Philippian Missions, yes, happened to be one of the organizations we partnered with, and we were able to reach amazing.
It was fun. We had lots and lots of testimonies. We had during the adolescent sexual health talk, we had lots of testimonies, and we had people that have gone through some of these things.
Yes.
And now they're doing better.
Would you believe that one of your students called me to tell me about her sister and how she's trying to get her sister to change?
Wow,
yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's very good.
I'm so sorry I forgot to tell you, but I'm going to try and get the WhatsApp message so you see what we talked about.
That's fine.
But that is not why we're here today. I just wanted you to get a feel of who Lois is and what she's about, and I'm sure you're loving her already. You can check her out on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
Yeah.
I will be fixing our social media handles in the description of this podcast. Today, we will be talking about why abolishing our culture on FGM. Why should we do it? Why is it still happening? That is one thing I still don't understand till today. I swear down. But we will be addressing it, and hopefully, if you get to listen to this episode, you don't just listen to it and, stop there. Share it with the world. Share it with your friends. Let people know that this is an act that should not even see the light of day.
Yeah.
So before we even go further, let's define it, because I know a lot of people still do not know what FGM means. So Lois, please help us. Do us the honor of defining FGM.
Yes, FGM is a procedure that involves a total or complete removal of the female external genitalia. So FGM is actually an issue. It's a very big issue. And though we have different types of FGM, though, because some people will be like, no, what happened? It was just a little scratch, and that was it. So we have different types of FGM. We have a type 1, which is clitoridectomy. That's like a partial total removal of the clitoris. We have the type 2, which is excision, that's the partial or complete removal of the clitoris and the labia minora. Then we have the defibrillation. That's the one that I used to call the Olga of FGM. Because this one is a more complex one where they try to sew up the labia majora and just leave the vaginal orifice close. They are doing it in such a way that they are closing up the vaginal orifice and just leaving the part where the child will be able to urinate. Then we have the last one, the type 4, where we just scratch, the pinch, and some insertion of herbs. Some people do that.
Why do they do that?
We have lots and lots of reasons why.
See, even if it is scratch, please.
It's an issue. It shouldn't be done. That's why I usually tell people that are planning to go do this particular act. I tell them that you are perfect for your purpose. You are perfect. You are perfect the way you are. You're perfect the way you look. You don't need to cut. You don't need to. Some people say that it will grow and become the male. It will look like the male external genitalia.
That's going to look like a penis. I've heard it worse.
Oh, yes. It's one of the reasons that they say it will grow and become and look like the male external genitalia. And a whole lot of other reasons. There's some people
That's
say
the funniest reason I've ever heard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, some people say it's dirty and it looks ugly.
Excuse me?
And it's funny now, but then when they are doing it, it looks like a serious thing because now it's their culture. I was telling you about one of the interviews that I had.
Yes.
Where the person that was discussing with me was asking me that why are we abolishing this culture? Is it because some people are lazy? Is it because some people are afraid of the pain? Is it because, lots of...
Did she just say it's because of people are afraid of the pain?
Yeah, she said so because some people said that it's because some people don't want to go through that pain. So they are running away from it.
No woman should go through that pain.
No woman should.
Look, the highest pain I go through that pain every month. And I don't like it. I don't wish my enemy that kind of
And that's pain. Because you've not given birth
no.
That one is, that's another on the other side.
But the cramps alone that I go through monthly, I dread it.
Yeah.
Now you are telling me, is it because of the pain? Like pain is a part of a woman's life. I do not subscribe to that.
Yes. It's a big issue. So I was telling her that there's really no advantage to FGM.
There's absolutely not.
There's no advantage. Like for the males, once you get circumcised, that's why we don't call it FGM for the males. We call it circumcision because there's no mutilation and stuff. Now, for the males, it's okay for you to get circumcised because it reduces penile cancer, infection, the STIs, that's sexually transmitted infection. Yes, a whole lot of other advantages. The AAP, that's American Academy of American Pediatrician, something like that. It was actually from there I read through and I was like, oh, this is actually nice to circumcise a boy. Now for the girl, because of the advantage. Now for the girl child, nothing. I just cutting her and that's the end. There's no advantage to the girl child, but there's advantage to the males that will later sleep with her later. So the reason why parents say that they want to circumcise their daughters because they don't want her to be promiscuous is really not an issue to me.
Well, there's only a kind of violence that can be done to the human body that can forever mar that person, whether you're a male or a female.
Exactly.
So you literally ruin that child's life, mentally speaking. Emotionally speaking and physically.
Exactly.
You've changed her.
Now there are a lot of complications when it comes to FGM. It's not just the pain. That's why I felt like, what are you talking about? It's not just the pain. Now there are a lot of implications. We have the immediate implication. That's when the practitioner is actually on the girl. The pain, that's one of it. Bleeding, hemorrhage. A lot of things happen. Urinary retention, because at that point the girl will not want to go to toilet to urinate.
Oh my god.
A lot of them even go into shock, and due to the shock they die. Now that does not now stop there. afterwards, there are some complications when you get married and all of that. Even before marriage, we also have this menstrual problem.
Complications.
We have urinary complications. We have psychological complications leading to depression. Trauma, and all of that. There was this girl that I was talking to you about her, and because of the cotton season, because it's usually the cotton season is usually done in August, because August is a long break, and because of the long break, it gives them like a month to heal. So this girl did not heal within that period, so she was unable to go to school during that period. So because of that, the school refused that she's been promoted with her mates. So she had to go back
she had to repeat
that class. And then the girl was not even doing well. So she had to fully repeat that class. And then her mates are, above her. You can imagine the low self-esteem, the depression, and other things that it will cause her.
She will now talk about the anger.
Yes.
She would never forgive her parents, for example.
That brings the trust issue. She will not forgive her parents. She will not trust anybody.
Everyone is a suspect.
And she will not even be able to open up to people, talk to people, because she has trust issues.
Because of the thing that has been done to her.
Exactly. So there's a lot of psychological harm.
I was thinking, there is so much exposure, so much awareness, the girl child, FGM. FGM is one kind of violence that is really, really intense because of how much it affects the girl child. It really affects the girl child. It's an all-rounder when it comes to the violence.
Yeah.
But now, my question is, I really feel, it's not a question, it's just what I think, and then I'll ask a question. I strongly feel that this act goes unchecked in rural areas, and there are probably more mortality rates than we know.
Exactly.
And we'll still talk about the medicalization of FGM, but let's talk about the fact that in these rural areas, there are no medical emergency healthcare. If a child is to undergo this thing, and probably she does not stop bleeding,
exactly,
and that will lead to her death. The use of crude tools, the pain that comes with it when they are forcing this child,
the infection,
cutting her through, that is not funny.
It's not funny.
What is being done now? What are people doing to stop this act in rural areas?
Though we have some laws guiding all of this, but now it's left for the judiciaries and
laws.
Yes, we have some laws.
Yeah.
Actually, we have the VAP law, which talks about the fact that anyone that perform this will pay a sum of 554 US dollars, and then
wait, $554.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
On a child's life.
And there's imprisonment.
Like, how many years?
I think 4 years. No, 40 years.
Why not
20? It's like 4 years or 3 years.
Or 30.
Exactly. It's like 4 years, and there are lots of laws. We have the Child Rights Act too on that. But then the thing is, that's the reason why I try my best to do community outreaches. I've been to Buhari. I've been to some part of Gwagwalada.
Okay.
I've been to some places, Jikoi, and all of that for sensitization. I try to go to the villages where these things are done, so that we can speak to them about it. Because now we're talking on TV, talking on radio. Some of them still have radio. Some of them may not even have electricity to, listen and gain the idea, or even have the knowledge of these things. So it's a culture. It's something that they keep doing, and it's something that they feel like, since our forefathers have done this thing. Some people don't even know the reasons why they do it. They just know, some of them just know the promiscuous reason. So they just keep doing
question things. Why am I
doing this?
Why do I need to do
So they just keep doing it. And anybody that refuses to do it, they term that person a witch. Sometimes they do that.
Tell me about the times you've gone for sensitization. After the sensitization, does it feel like they will change?
During the sensitization, while speaking with them about it, they understand. But now there are a lot of people, maybe you're speaking to people, so we try to get translators to speak to them about it. Some of them come and they meet me and they're like, okay, why should I stop this thing? What else can I do, to stop her from getting promiscuous. Some parents don't even talk to their girls about their sexual health. They just feel like they can make the decision, so they just violate her, because I'll call that violation of her human rights. They just violate her immediately and say, oh yeah, let's just cut her.
Now that we've caught you, let's see if you'll be promiscuous, kind of thing.
Exactly. And they don't know that there's something like rape. Sorry for cutting you.
Okay.
So rape can happen whether she's caught or not.
Okay, so I was explaining how it's weird. What I'm saying is, sometimes it happens to us even when we go to church. When we have been doing something and the pastor now tells us it's bad, we feel bad there. We tell ourselves we'll not do
it again.
But once we reach house, breeze blows small, we'll go back to doing that thing. That's what I'm saying. Don't you think it still happens? Don't you think there needs to be a follow-up sensitization? There needs to be some one-on-one contact with these people, in these areas? I understand that it's a lot of work having to go back to these rural areas because they're quite inside. I know a lot of places are really far, but are there modalities in place to reach them?
Yes, we're trying to actually reach them. Speaking to them and going back to reach them. But then, if something is a culture, it's very difficult to abolish. Very, very difficult to abolish. It takes, constant speaking with the person, constant. So that's the reason why most times we give them our numbers. If there's if you have a reason, if somebody has given you a reason to go through the process of FGM, just call us. Let's talk to you about the reasons why you shouldn't,
Okay.
Yeah.
How about if we can go through local ed?
Yes. Even through religious pastors, imams, and all of that.
People that are in a place of influence that can actually, to some extent influence the act.
Yes, there was one we did. There was one outreach we went for, and we spoke to the king about it, and the king also stood up to, comment on this act. The king is well learned, and he knows the reason. He knows the consequences of FGM, so he usually speaks to his people about FGM. But FGM now, because they know that there's a criminal, there's something behind. How do I say this? There's a law now that if you are caught, this and this will happen and all of that. So they do it in a very hidden place. They do it in an environment where they can just hide and do whatever they want to do. But then it takes a friend, people that are close to you, that will now be like, what's going on with this girl? Where is she? I've not seen her in a while. That's when they will now start looking for her and be like, oh, this and this and this and this happened. And when it happens like that, nobody will want to come and report. It will now look like I'm a ball.
Okay, so let's talk about medicalization of FGM. I feel like it's a very disgusting strategy to ensure the continuation of the violation of girls. I think so because we've talked so much about the pain, the struggle, the effects, the use of crude tools. Some of these people are now beginning to bring in some infuse technology into FGM. So they give the girls anesthesia to go take them to hospitals. So it looks like a normal surgical procedure. And now we've taken the pain away. So can we still go ahead with our culture? What do you think about this?
I would say that the nurses and the doctors are educated. So if they're educated, they should know what is right from what is wrong. But then some of them don't even know that FGM is not something that should be practiced. So since they don't know that...
Wait, how can a doctor not know that FGM is not to be practiced?
Some of them, that's why I said this is a cultural thing. It's something that has grown deep into their lives. It's their way of life.
So you are saying that no matter how educated a man is,
his culture
are times when culture still does not change his thinking.
Exactly.
That's weird.
It doesn't change your thinking. It doesn't change. You still remember that in our village, we don't used to do like this. In our village, we used to do like that's why you hear some people say, don't allow me go to the village. If I go to the village, because they in our village, you hear people say in our village, we don't do like this. In our village, we don't abort pregnancies. I've heard some people saying that. So wherever you go to, no matter the standard of education you have,
there's still they
see a place of culture in their lives,
because people need to hold on to beliefs, traditions.
Exactly.
Well, to all the doctors and nurses that do this, please put an end to this.
Yeah.
Please. Put an end.
Move. Culture is something that culture is something that can be replaced. Culture is something that keeps changing. Culture is not static. So these things should stop. No matter whatever you have been told, no matter how much you've been given to mutilate a girl, please, we are begging, don't do this.
I understand the need for preservation of culture, but I feel that applies to things like our sense of clothing.
Yes. Do you see how traditional marriage used to look like? Things like that.
These are the things we should preserve.
Exactly.
We don't keep those culture.
We don't.
We copy other people, but things that should be abolished that harms a man or a woman, we keep
those ones. And that's a big problem.
The thing with FGM is, I just want it to be clear, and I want everybody to know, it's not a Nigerian thing. It's not an African thing. It's a global thing.
It's a global thing.
It happens everywhere. 200 million.
That's why I say globally. Over 200 million women are living with the consequences of FGM. So it's a big issue, and it's something that we really need to put at the front line.
So you're telling me there's a possibility that the woman I walk past, on my street is probably going through something and she cannot express what she's going through.
Exactly. I was telling you that I was speaking with this woman. I didn't really know how. We were just talking, and I was just sitting down waiting for someone. So she was telling me, so what do you do? I told her, I'm an advocate. I talk to people about FGM. And then she was like, FGM? What's FGM? So she didn't even know what FGM means. So when I told her, so she was asking, what's FGM? And then I told her, how would you not know what FGM means? And she was like, no, I don't know what FGM is. And I'm like, okay. So I told her. She was thinking that it was one of all those our issues again. We have come. When we talk about some of these things, like, you have come with your wahala. So I was now telling her that this is what it means. She was like, oh, okay. And then I told her that it's the procedure that involves the total or partial cut of the female genitalia, the external female genitalia. And she was like, that's what you're calling FGM. That's circumcision now. What's circumcised now? Don't you know that it is our doctrine? Ours was a religious reason. It's our doctrine.
There's a religious backing to FGM?
Yes, there's a religious backing.
Oh no.
So now a lot of pastors and imam condemns it, but there are a lot of people that have their different doctrines about some certain things. They will tell you that Moses said you should get circumcised. That was exactly what the woman, something like that, she was telling me something like that. That Moses said you should go and circumcise some set of people, and she was saying, I was like, oh, do you have a female daughter? She was like, no, she has 4 boys. I was like, so if you had a female daughter, would you circumcise her? She was like, yes, I would have circumcised her. So that was when I sat her down and spoke to her about FGM, what FGM really means, the implications of FGM, the types of FGM and all of that. She was like, okay, no wonder. During sex, I don't used to really feel anything. Sometimes if I used to even feel pains.
Oh my God.
And then she said she had, I don't know if that's one of the, consequences of FGM. She was like, she had constant miscarriage.
Oh, I thought you were about to forget it. I mean, what's going on here?
And then,
so you're telling me FGM has some effect?
Yes, he has a lot of effects. So she was like, maybe that's the reason why she was having, but I don't know if miscarriage is part of it because I've not really read in some places where, but then she was saying that she had constant miscarriage and she doesn't even like the idea of sex. So she just do it so that her husband will not go out.
Oh my God.
So I was like,
so this woman has been deprived of premium enjoyment.
Yeah. And I was like, well, she was like, that she didn't know, that she thought it was something that was good and everybody should do it. She was even looking at me weird at some point. That's why you were not caught. Why? What were your parents doing?
Excuse me.
That was what
they were keeping me safe.
Exactly. Before I even told her about the FGM, the consequences and all of that, and I told her about FGM, she just looked at me. So you're not circumcised? She was feeling like saying immediately, oh yeah, let's go.
Let's do something
about it. And then when I spoke to her about the consequences, I spoke to her a lot about it. In fact, the person I was waiting for even came and all of that. And then I just discussed with her. She felt really bad. She felt really sad. Number one, she was sad because she was ignorant about it. And number two, she felt it's a cultural thing. So since everybody is doing it, it's something that they should do. And that's why what you said earlier, having a will, having
matters.
Yes.
We'll talk about that soon. So having a will matters.
Yes.
Okay, guys, Lois is talking about, because before now, remember I said we had to delete the record. I was talking about how I come from a family where we all have a mind of our own. And even when my mom was told, that she needed to be circumcised or caught, she did not do it. She didn't care what the societal meant.
What everybody would say.
She didn't care what people would say.
That's what people are conscious about now. What will people say about me?
So I still feel that
everybody should have a will.
No. I'm talking how the fact that my mom had a mind of our own, we have a mind of our own. Like if you give me bullshit about how FGM is something I must do, and telling me that you probably never talk to me, bye-bye to you. Or you say, you will never go to us, bye-bye. I don't know. That's the kind of home we came. We'll just tell you to hell with what you are saying. We are not doing this, we are not doing this. How about while we are sensitizing the people who caught, we are sensitizing rural areas, we are trying to get local leaders to change this. How about we also try to make girls have a stand of their own? Or is it that these girls are usually deceived so they don't know when they're about to be caught?
Like I was saying, I wrote a comic book and it will be out very shortly. It's titled Tolani Nirara.
Okay.
That's like Tolani said no. That's it's a comic book that will make young girls have the zeal and be encouraged to say no to some certain violent acts.
What if a child say no and they just trick her into it?
That one is an issue. But then that will give her an understanding that she's about to get tricked into whatever they want to do.
How is because she's about to get tricked?
They take these people, they take them to a particular place and just force them, they restrain them.
Saying, have you done it? Have you sensitized the girl child to know the tricks? How she might be tricked into doing it? Fine, we'll tell them. How about we tell them, look, have a mind of your own. Nothing is going to happen to you. If they say if you don't do everything, this is what. Let them know that. Then also teach them the strategies that these people are using to capture them and trick them into doing what they don't want to do.
Exactly. Because some of them, it can be due to, they're still really young. Some of them are still really young. So they may just tell them something that interests them. It all depends on the girl. Like if you're a parent now, you know what your daughter would love the most. So you can just use that and be like, come, let's go and get ice cream. Now, I'm just saying ice cream, but then in the rural environment, we know.
So now this is a tricky one because if you look at it, we're trying to train the child not to trust her parents.
So it's like that.
This is wow. It's a different case when we're small. Our mothers will say, "Don't talk to a boy. If you talk to a boy, you get pregnant." And we stuck to that rule. But how do we tell a child that, look, if your mom is saying, "Let's go here to get your ice cream," she's probably tricking you to go to FGM. That's really difficult.
It's a difficult thing because your parents know you well. So when your parents know you, they know what you like. So if you tell a child that when your parents say, "Let's go and get ice cream," they're tricking you to go for FGM, or let's go and go to a place where I can tell you the village square where we can tell you stories. That's like a trick. But then they would not want to go to the village square anymore. They would not want to continue with their daily activities, which is
very will not be happening when they now make everybody a suspect.
Exactly. So it's an issue.
This is a very big issue.
Yes, it's a very big issue.
I find myself, I have to say that I find myself really lucky and thankful that I've not undergone this thing. And I'm going to try as much as possible to, if I find anyone talking about FGM and is in any way an apologist, for example, I will let them know that it's horrible. I believe strongly, this is a word to everyone out there. You don't have to be a victim of something to advocate for something.
No.
You don't have to be a victim of an act to be an activist.
I'm not a victim of FGM, but I know the implications. I've seen people that have gone through this and they are living with the consequences. And that is the reason why I've made it a thing to talk to people, educate people about this thing. And that's the reason why, I'm like you said earlier, I'm someone that relates with kids a lot. And anything that affects them is as if it's affecting me directly. And that's the reason why I'm making this a point of duty to, get the comic book and give it out to girls in the community, because a lot of them don't know about these acts. So they don't know about these acts, and we need to get this book out there, make the girls understand that, see, if you have not done this thing, there's a probability that it will happen to you. So you have to be careful and understand that this thing actually exists.
I'm glad you are even putting it in the Yoruba language. Please consider putting it in other languages as well. I really hope you get sponsored. I really hope people, help you out in making the comic. Because I know there's a lot of money that is involved in making comics, printing it, distributing it. I know this because we have a comic of our own that we're trying to distribute across the country. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this comic. And I want to use the opportunity to employ everybody. We are all activists and advocates of something. You might as well add FGM to it and tell everybody, whenever you get the chance, whenever you suspect something has been done, to stop it. We need to talk about case studies quickly before the end of this episode. Share with us one or two stories that you feel, might emphasize the danger, the horror of FGM out there.
I'll talk about just this one story that happened this year. The Fatun girl in Somalia. Fatun Hassan Ahmed. She was a girl that her father is actually blind. He's a nomadic farmer, and she helps the father, to take care of. The father has goats, to take care of the goats and everything. So she's practically the eyes of her father, because the father is blind. But now the girl had to, she had to go under this court. She was caught, and during the court she started bleeding, and she bleeded excessively till she died.
Oh my God.
So now the father is left alone with all of the things that, it's just like the father did not have anybody. She was the only one. She didn't have a mother or anybody around. So she was the only one.
Did the father approve the cutting? We don't know.
We practically don't know if he approved. But then if it's something that is done in that particular area, the father wouldn't want to say, no, don't get caught. It's something that we have been doing. Her mom was probably caught, So it's something that he would have allowed. And, for poor people living in rural areas, anything and everything that, is happens. You can just,
It's a communal place. So
do whatever you want.
One big family.
Exactly. If one family is doing something, then
the next family will probably do it.
So it was a shocking story for me. And it's something that whenever I think about it, I'm pained about it, because I've been talking about this over and over again. For it to happen to a girl of 13 years old is something that, for we adults, as you grow, the pain, you can take more pain. Yeah. Now for a young girl at that age, going through this kind of cut and then bleeding excessively and all of that without, a good hospital that could even take care of her, stop the bleeding and all of that, due to the environment that she finds herself.
Oh my God.
But then her story would, live on, and we'll keep talking to people about this issue. It's a sad story.
This is really touching. And the fact that there are probably more than, this case study out there, there are probably more scenarios, more events, more happenings that led to death. It's really, really painful. And I'm really hoping there are more people like you that have taken it upon themselves to keep educating people out there, using platforms like this. You are on the radio, you're on TV, now you're even on podcast, to ensure that you have a recording you can always send to people. Please, by all means, do that as much as you can. Post Nigeria is very, very grateful for, thank you for choosing us to share this story.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your point of view. Very, very important. The world needs to hear this. Guys, if you listen to this episode, do not listen alone. Do not let it end with you. Spread the gospel. Spread this. Let the whole world hear about it. Let people you feel might be into this thing. Just
maybe
give it
ignorant.
to them. Just listen to this episode. Just take a look at what FGM can do. Know what it's about, and see that people whom are dying from this. Guys, you should know that this episode is sponsored by the Global Media Campaign. This is a shout out to Global Media Campaign. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to spread this as well. Please tell us about Global Media Campaign if you wish.
Global Media Campaign is an organization that give out grants and also create awareness for FGM.
Yes, guys. So the Global Media Campaign trains, funds, they support activists to use key influencers like religious community leaders, on the media to end FGM. FGM ends when local level activists, influencers, medics, religious leaders, and journalists take to the airwaves, calling for the end, to FGM. And that is what the Global Media Campaign to End FGM is about. And I feel it's really, really, really important that there is a body like this out there seeking to put an end to FGM. You've been listening to Bitemi Adedire as well as Lois Aderomose. Thank you so much for joining us. Till I see you in my next episode.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.